Adeshima my mama nyina aju UTV kase boy ensaka ne de brem ye de free ship house Abeka Junction Accra na ye to amane wo ba bia wo biara wo hwe yen efri na kase boy die edi mu akotene bi ene se mampanyi John Dramani Mahama de atu edwa se eneyi esese nyina yetimi eka ya dwen bom ya dwendwen ho se de be ya Ghana sikasem ebetumi agina ne naso
Saso eno mampanyini kasa wasan echire mu se wo mu se ye pese Ghana sika ejina ne naso de nanso ye mane mfa anase ye mfa mdi kantentem so na nunti ye kwakobobo bosia basabasa
dom kuma wo emrahye dwam de atu edwa wonom echire se mampanyi John Dramani Mahama ba ye die wo ye terminator te se movie na ya hwe no eye ni wo se meyi wadi
ewo dom kuma hodom aso no mu chire mu se ye de yakohoma sika yi eba betudwa na banyi eye na dwen se eto wo san be ma emuso a enya de se wo mo bepene amana ma eto mu
se kopie mu wa santemantam kotokuo mu a kotokuo mu bridge no nyame adom osofo a wo hwe akwan ne akwantempo so kire se yantum na wo mu ensiesie enfie bebreni a eseye
saso ena enkramantem ha se so Ghana Tourism Authority sadwe eye heritage month no omo apahontoma
SMP kan won ye de bramo kaseboyi emu enyuma krobi adaroma
asada kese enkoma this way chocolate drink and then you remember sanka bi nanom saso na best point service loans and best assurance eyesika krabia papa ubetime de wo ho ato wo mo so you too I data salt and maybe pewfie da enchine papa saso and special eyes mineral water abujunsu papa
midi di akosi asapon mene
abena chei boache
se ye boyra ensem ni mu edea na Jumadi Stronko akoso eye mampanyi John Dramani Mahama ena wode ensem ahodo atu edwa we eye national economic dialogue ene ofiti jumadi yi ase na ofiti ase no eno nam so ama mampanyi John Dramani Mahama de ensem tu dwa kire se ene ye sikasem no ato ape se ebeye ye a agise yegina ye kan adwene bom ye dwendwene ho yie ne ye sigina papa ebebo man ni nyina na yetimi ama ye sikasem no etimi.
It is with great honor and a deep sense of responsibility that I welcome you to this national economic dialogue. This gathering is more than just a symbolic exercise or the fulfillment of a campaign promise. It is a decisive step in our collective responsibility to reset Ghana's economy, restore confidence, and build the prosperous future we all envision. Today we are here to begin the process of engaging in honest, solution-driven discussions about the challenges we face and the opportunities before us. Our nation stands at a pivotal moment, and the choices we make now will determine the trajectory of our economy for generations to come. As President, I have the honor of leading the conversation on the theme, Resetting Ghana, Building the Economy We Want Together. This theme reflects our shared commitment to creating an economy that is resilient, inclusive, and built on sustainable growth. It is an invitation to all stakeholders to contribute their expertise, ideas, and dedication to this national effort. Ghana is at a critical crossroads in its economic development. The before us are stark, and the economic distress we face are undeniable. However, our collective resilience, ingenuity, and determination have always been the driving force of our nation's progress. We are not here merely to recount our struggles, nor are we here to resign ourselves to economic stagnation. We are here to seek solutions, to adopt strategies that will put us on a sustainable growth trajectory, and to ensure that we build an economy that works for every Ghanaian. For me, this is not just another policy discussion. It is an urgent call to action. A crucial moment for us as stakeholders to unite with purpose and resolve the challenges that face us. The Bank of Ghana, instead of serving as an independent monetary authority, became a financing tool for government's excesses, fueling inflation and devaluing our currency. The cost of living has skyrocketed to unbearable levels, leaving families grappling with the inability to afford even the most basic necessities. At the same time, inflation erodes the value of wages and savings, pushing many into a cycle of poverty. Meanwhile, the ill-considered collapse of indigenous banks significantly reduced indigenous presence in Ghana's financial and banking space and led to massive job losses. For too long, Ghana has been plagued by short-term decision-making that prioritizes political expediency over long-term stability. We refuse to accept this as Ghana's reality. We reject the notion that economic hardship must be our norm. We refuse to surrender to the forces of stagnation and decline. We are gathered here today because we believe in Ghana's ability to rise again.
Our National Economic Dialogue Jumedie Yase and Omampenyi His Excellency John Dramani Mahama was saying esi subio se ewu se yenam kwana so yetoto niema se de beya ye Ghana yesika sem no ebetimi agina yi enti yenyina yenya abotre se de beya Ghana yenyina ye hwehwe no ye betimi enya se de beya nchirima so ebetimi enya so emfaso na mmom mema ye mpepere ye ho emfa kwan basabasa so emmobobosia na bosia no se ye bo a ede wo haw kese ene baba beto oman yi so esese ye Ghana sidi bia ye beyi ede abo oman no ho bra no esese Ghana ni bia enya so mfaso.
My fellow citizens, I know that the road to economic recovery will be challenging, but we must not relent in our quest to rebuild the Ghana we all want for the sake of our children and our children's children. We owe it to ourselves, our children, and our country to rebuild an economy that is resilient, that is sustainable, and capable of delivering real opportunities for every citizen. My priority as President is to restore macroeconomic stability. We must enforce responsible public financial management and ensure fiscal discipline at all levels of government while working to reduce hardships for our people. Under my leadership, the Bank of Ghana's independence will be safeguarded to implement prudent monetary policies that curb inflation, that stabilize our currency, and rebuilds our foreign reserves. We must never again allow reckless borrowing and excessive government spending to undermine our progress. Fiscal responsibility must become the bedrock of our national development strategy, and every cedi spent must deliver tangible value to the Ghanaian people. We must review our laws. Thank you. We must review our laws to eliminate excessive waste in the procurement of government supplies and projects. Single-source procurement must be the rare exception rather than the norm. We must also subject government projects above a certain threshold to value for money audits. And just this morning, I was reviewing some of the procurement reports. And there was this procurement for poultry farmers, 10,000 units of something. And it was single source. The reason for single source was urgency. And one company was giving the contract to supply 10,000 units of whatever it was. The supplier and the person who assembles it was not allowed to bid. And so the company that won it went to the supplier, bought the items for 4,500 and came and sold them for 6,600 to government and walked away with 21 million cedis on that supply. I mean, how can you do this? I mean, it was our own company we're running. How would we do a thing like this? But that is government bleeding. Everybody cutting their pound of flesh. That must stop. Beyond stabilization, we must undertake a fundamental transformation of our economic structure. Ghana's economy has been heavily reliant on the export of raw materials, such as gold, cocoa, and crude oil, leaving us vulnerable to global price fluctuations and external shocks. We must end this dependence. It is time to transition to a value-added industrialized economy that creates jobs, that boosts exports, and reduces our reliance on imports. Manufacturing and agro-processing must be expanded to ensure that we derive maximum value from our natural resources.
So Ediana Ora Amin Adams enkane wona na eye osoafo a ohwe sikasem so na wagina edom kumana nemu ede nsem bi atodwa ensem odi todwa ene se mampanyi John Dramani Mahama baye waye ne ho se terminator de na chese ade bi ebesi ne kwan bi obeyi afiri ho na de wayi afiri ho a woka ho asem no eye Ghana mabunu a abra MPP abreso wo kire se wo mfa akwampa so ma wo munya adwuma yeye no waba beyi wo mu nyina adi no no de wonimpa se ya amanyosem na mampanyi John Dramani Mahama wo ye nti wo mo contract ana se appointment bi ede ma wo mo no sese wa terminate no esan se wo pese wo de ne party ma ene ba na wo mo be ye adwuma nti ene wa ye san hyehyeye no eno ena ema no de san semwe atu edwa a wo kire se koba sei dia enya de atwa yi.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now a notorious fact that to create vacancies for the purpose of employing NDC youth, the Mahama administration has sacked thousands of young Ghanaians who had been properly employed by the previous administration. The termination of the jobs of young Ghanaians, which has become synonymous with Mr. President Mahama, who we now prefer to call Terminator 1, is a sign of what is yet to come. Sacking people from employment and replacing them later with others does not amount to job creation. What the people of Ghana want are new jobs for those yet to be employed. President Mahama knows that the programs he outlined in his statement, Nkoko, Nkitinkiti, and the rest, cannot create sustainable jobs for the Ghanaian youth. Hence, the resort to termination of existing jobs for future replacement to shore up his job numbers. This is after President Mahama had argued, sadly, in 2016, that it was legitimate for an outgoing administration to recruit and sign deals up until the midnight of January 7 the following year, when its term expires. Not only are these double standards worrying, but the dismissals will no doubt worsen the unemployment situation which he promised to fix. The thousands who have been dismissed have been condemned to suffering and hardship. The fight against Galamsey has been difficult, no doubt. The President Mills struggled with it. President Mahama struggled with it in his first term. And despite the best of efforts, President Akufo-Addo also struggled with it. After having made so much propaganda about it, while in opposition, key NDC figures appearing before Parliament's Appointments Committee could not substantiate any of the propaganda allegations of the MPP being complicit in the Galamsey phenomenon. In contrast, media networks are now reporting that weeks after the election, known NDC kingpins in the Ashanti region have invaded some forests and commenced Galamsey activities there. Also in the western region and the eastern region and western north, all over. And the president is quiet, is silent on all this. 3 district hospitals achieved practical completion, equipped and commissioned on 5th December 2024. And they are Achima Konguma Municipal Hospital at Trede, Konguma Municipal Hospital at Trede, the Oforikro Municipal Hospital at Kokoben, and Ahanta West Municipal Hospital at Bokro. We also had dedicated sources of funding. Some have said that we're just doing it in an ad hoc manner. We had dedicated sources of funding from the government annual budgetary allocation and the CAPEX component of the annual budget funding amount from oil revenues. Total outstanding amount to complete all these district hospitals and the zonal psychiatric hospitals as at December 31st December 2024 was $1.3 billion. In his haste to misinform the Ghanaian people, the president told a group of clergymen who visited him in his office, that he needed $1.7 billion to complete the Agenda 111 projects. In his address to the nation last week, he put the amount at 22 billion Ghana cedis, and that is $1.4 billion, at 15.5 cedis to $1. So, Mr. President, which is the correct amount? We have taken note of the new government's plan to abandon these projects by proposing to relaunch the ABFA from oil revenues used in financing these projects to other projects. This is unacceptable, Mr. President. And this certainly will lead to significant cost overruns, which will later come to hurt our country.
Sabri akwako PMO ewo mampenye His Excellency John Dramani Mahama na kache na bra na wakasa ewo economic dialogue jumedie no ase no mampenye di tuja se yesesa o my Ghana amana fa ne ntoma pefra no wosesa abre no enoa eni asase enunti wode to eye nyuma ahodo ene wo mo nim di o mo kabie wo mu stakeholders ene Ghana ni nyina Ghana fo nyina se yen nyina yen ka ye ho emom na saa enhyehyɛ ya wo mo eye ama Ghana afa ne ntoma pefra no ebetimi aye adwuma afen so wo se wo mo dwumadi esi wo mani so pa eye 24-hour economy saa policy no enso so no aba eno no eba be peje enwuma wo honom dada no emu ese eba be bie enwuma ama nipa na se mabunu dodo na anya adwuma ya afen so ebe peje o my Ghana esi amanone ejina bie.
My fellow Ghanaians, a new era is upon us, an era of bold transformation, economic expansion, and limitless opportunities. At the heart of our vision for Ghana's future is the implementation of a 24-hour economy that works for all. This strategy will revolutionize our economic landscape. It will create sustainable jobs and position Ghana as a competitive force on the global stage. Across the world, thriving economies have embraced continuous productivity, ensuring that businesses, industries, and essential services operate around the clock to maximize growth and prosperity. It is time for Ghana to also step forward and break free from the limitations of a traditional economy and embrace a future where opportunity is not confined by time. Under this initiative, this administration is committed to providing incentives and tax breaks for manufacturers and businesses that extend their operational hours, encouraging a shift-based employment system that expands job opportunities. We will strengthen key sectors such as manufacturing, retail, healthcare, logistics, and financial services to support such continuous operation. We'll invest in infrastructure, energy, and security to ensure businesses and workers operate in a safe and efficient environment. We'll enhance transportation systems to facilitate the movement of workers and goods at all hours of the day and night. We'll implement fair labor practices that protect workers' rights while fostering productivity and economic growth. The time for transformation is now. Let us embrace our economic transformation and unlock the full potential of our beloved country. Let us work together to build a resilient, competitive, and a prosperous Ghana.
Ebusiafo yenya boafo nkrato edikan embrasisia. ya mamo akwa abaye to akase bono eso a na National Economic Dialogue dwumadie no a ekoso mampanyi John Dramani Mahama de nsem etu dwasanso na osoafo a wo hwe sikasem so we aye onwonyafo KSL ato forcing Dr. Shenidino enim na eno na wo kire se enhwehwe ya hodo a egu apono so yese yede etoto ye sikasem no se yanhwe na yankom na yansakire mu a anhwe ya de yede ani abu si yesikasem no be sori agina no enru sa enuntie wo se entem so ye bibi.
Your Excellency, the current growth model will not be sufficient to meet Ghana's needs and aspirations if nothing is done, and it will mean that we have to take urgent steps to correct this trend. Ghana needs to take advantage of its demographic dividend. With 500,000 young people joining the labor force each year, 500,000. Within the current growth model, growth will reduce to only 3.8%, which represents 2.4% GDP per capita in less than 15 years from now. There's an urgent need to implement ambitious reforms to reset the economy in the next 4 years. Otherwise, we'll go down in terms of growth. Transforming Ghana's economic growth from one based on factor accumulation and natural resource depletion to one driven by productivity and human capital is very critical. Economic growth can be sustained over 6.5% of GDP, fully offsetting headwinds from demographic trends and the decline in natural resource depletion if we are to adjust from the current baseline situation. Your Excellency, the graph on the left-hand side shows the baseline situation from now to the year 2050 using the baseline and where the growth will be. We've adjusted for moderate reforms and we have also adjusted for ambitious reforms. The moderate reforms will largely mean that we will have to quickly bring on stream the Pecan field, and that will adjust from where we are and improve the growth trend. Whereas ambitious reforms will mean we'll have to do a lot more than adjusting from the Pecan oil fields. Without comprehensive reforms, unfortunately, Ghana will only achieve upper middle income status after the year 2050. And we cannot wait till the year 2050 before we become an upper middle income country. There's an urgent need for comprehensive policies and institutional reforms that enhance productivity, improve the quality of infrastructures, services, and elevate human capital and workforce skills. These reforms have the potential of transforming Ghana within a generation, tripling its per capita income by the year 2050. There is the need to reorient fiscal policy to support the growth and structural transformation. Mr. President, fellow citizens, we can reset our economy. We can do this. We just have to be disciplined and understand that the short-term benefits we gain today has a long-term consequences on our future. Let's do this for Mother Ghana.
Edom kuma wamra se bedwam sabre wo de kokobo e de ama aban se saban no aye na dwen se to e wo honum dada no obema mu anase wo de etofofo e beba de a enya de se wo omo e bepene esan se wo mo to etuo mu a Ganafo e bebre pa na wo mo e kasa no e na enkane soafo ano wo hye yin sikasem so Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam e no wo kire mu se aban yi e de esi nani so se etu a wo mo hwe ni mu so mo benya e wa fi mu e 200 billion Ghana cedis wo sa de we ento so mo sanse Ghana baby esikasem ejina no enko ye ntinya de se mo betimi enya se esika no eno nti wo de kokobo e ma aban yi se abra na aban dada no wo so no se wo de eto e mene Ganafo eno nti wo mo so wo ma bai de enya de se wo mo bepene ama wo ma to eto dada enum anase wo mo de foforo abeka ho.
We believe that these unholy moves by the NDC are intended to buy time to cover for its incompetence in managing the economy. and to establish the basis for increasing taxes and introducing new taxes in the 2025 budget statement, even as they are promising to scrap e-levy, COVID levy, and others. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to ask you, does it make sense to scrap e-levy and betting tax and replace them with new taxes on the telecommunication industry? They are bringing back VAT on telecommunication. They are increasing the growth and sustainability levy on the mining industry. And they are bringing back VAT on the financial services and real estate industries.
Wow. Airlines.
All these taxes will be passed on to customers, to the Ghanaian people. The people of Ghana should wait for the deception of the NDC government when they present the 2025 budget.
Sakawa.
Taxes galore. Sakawa. This is how they intend to tax Ghanaians to collect their target of 200 billion Ghana cedis in tax revenues this year. This NDC government accused us, the MPP administration, of overtaxing the people of Ghana, because by the end of 2024, the MPP administration collected 152.9 billion Ghana cedis, and that was 17% tax to GDP ratio, taking it from President Mohammed's 13% in 2016. How do you then turn around to expect to collect 200 billion Ghana cedis in an economy you call a broken economy? Ladies and gentlemen, we, the mighty minority, will join the people of Ghana to resist any attempt to smuggle in new taxes or increase existing taxes. We owe it a duty to hold the government accountable for their promises to the people of Ghana. Yes. We can only accommodate scrapping of taxes. Yes. We cannot accept new taxes or increase in taxes.
Oswafo a wo share apomuden ho ensem ono anso na ye mrahye bedwane wo sehwidwabo so no munyamfo kwabena minta akando na wode atu edwa se ne manfo a wonom ewo dwabo so ne mpotamu no obehwe se obesi nursing fo wo montete ye bia mekire nursing training college de ama emabunu no omo ho no na omatimi akwakoje ntete afei wo kire se se wo hwe asuye ya wo mhwe apomuden ho nsem a obehwe se ne mpotamu ho no ayaresabe ewo ho no wode apomden adwumayefo a wo wo nimde eboro so beba no ma be kirekire wo mo ho no titiru ene emergency ho no no matimi aye adwuma yie
Jane say the health center sa chip compounds na ewo furnish no etumi ni sa health center na ye say meka say ne iwo china de etumu ana ko ya de sa kai but GDA say ni echini ko network of practice ni ye say pharmacy shops any chips compounds any health facilities ni na no ye connecting together then the beer chips company into me chips company e be recommended and number refer health facility. It is a network of practice concept and person giving us Namaya Jabo district no Yebenya nursing training college ewa ha de mum Jabo so ka Jabo so a any crew back up including Dawson but be able to port any day and you know any opinion is ever dream home we try to okwasan so a hospital bi wo yade fidie begumsi nyisun fidie no nti me call ministry no watumwa na mo and manim ya no besoma ko ma be training ko form be use san fidie no e wo sa ayaresabia no na ko fo a wo so ba ho be ya adwuma no so no se betumwa na mo ne ya masa health facility no ay well equipped center me haya na seba that's already na you have already clinic na chivo asase nyina ma ye ho plan nyina for future extension to no the senka e had in the first point be boy pa because be a clinic first no they say we potem ha na no bia ba
beje ayarsa say problem bi kakra bi bana medical sana no ha no ne benforo bi munya na manifria let's say di no de ho.
Acting Chief Executive Officer Emma Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Dr. Frank Owusi Seche na sabe wodi aton semcho for enim se eba no nsiesie a omoye ewo maternity block honom na omo hwe enim se enru ni bosome ensia so no no ma nsiesie ni bibia awie wo se wo gina sa ensemi so esanse contractor wodi ho dwuma no wo mo ne no akasa ma wode ne nsama ma wo mo se enu bosome ensia die na wo masiesie ni nyina wo se no mo wani so de hu se ankomo bebubu sa maternity block na ankomo si ne foforo kra na nso sikasem ho akwatwe enu nti ene mo si gina yese omo yesa nsiesie nti enu ne bosome ensia de no mo wie bibia.
Block no initially na nke say be durable because promises be anenya but cheni ehun say sika 70 em say you strengthen the year no until they are contracts and I think this is the third or fourth time I acquire them just to make sure say we keep them on their toes. Almost my 6 months period, but 80% of the work I'm told is completed within 2 months, which means they are going to meet the target at least, or maybe they will meet it before. So this is one of the rounds just to make them know that we are keeping a tab on it. Yeni also, and also it be a challenges be honoma. I think the last time I called her challenges be about some slabs. And you know, see say the torso ebe cause trouble and now say cause trouble nti the ebe hono ne atena say na ya discuss mpempi chrono ekoso okolebo na to us no your wall no porous nti obi etimi efam nti say pese you pay attention to CDBC secure, and one of the walls is one of the things that has come up for recommendation say yensi. Now the difficulty in here is say wall no ye community no baby a wall no one nsuo fa ho nti ye see wall na a stop it nsuo no na a flood the community no nti ubuhu anu maba bebu no nti say ye ne omo anya enketa ho ahu say say ye no say that be win-win nti say be see the complete wall no ye be ye na ya allow spaces be as nsuo betimi afem. So the bear and block your more. We are aware since you know peseba. And we want to finish that one fast so that we can test the integrity and see BBSA oxygen. So yeah, one of the things in PMP when you see oxygen as some kolebu, yes, kolebu dio kwa just about the oxygen. Inti yetaba hanu mebe say the oxygen plant until 2003 na abine a donating mine and it's been working. Now be one challenge. Most challenges na electrical power. Bones a monster current be a pass it through na a blow BB. But a basa na as I say either say you be resorted to buying and now say you be use cylinders. Now share oko honum say cylinders no yeah fairly cylinders no. At the same time no esa power oxygen call some departments. Now the TN say but could be a power medical block. I come for a sizable chunk of the pipe, no, Makoton scraps. It costs about 400,000 just to get that one fixed. It's almost fixed. Until we just want to bring attention to the fact that oxygen, if we manage it properly, if we are all able to secure the fence and then stop the stealing. There won't be any reason why we can't supply enough oxygen.
Adeshima mayenye aboafo nkratomra.
Adesuma ya mama kwaba yetwa kase no eso. African Forest Landscape Restoration Initiative sabre womo apa hontoma eye amanoni dwumedia womo de abase de beye a womo ni so adi hu na se ni so adi hu si womo ni so pa na se womo ehwe se eye yensase no duduo mu eye 100 million hectares womo betimi asiesie adane ani amana fa ne ntemapa de efra womo ne eye yempotemu so ankrankрафo na ekabom amasa nhihye yetimi akoso na womo se womo hwe ni mu se so womo kabom no mu di dwumedi asiesie yensase a ebemma manfo mo yempesua so womo benya so mfa so yie pa esanse ensase no ebefa ne ntoma pefe no ene nam so ma ochehene osagefo amoti ofo repanyini sabe odi dwa se wo sere ka bi ma omo ka bi wo mu aban yi se omo fo mo ho nyim se de be ya sa dwumadie ani so ade ho nyina ebetimi abem.
We have come to acquire some disease, this deep-seated greed of accumulating material wealth more often with no regard to what we do to our society. I am worried about what type of country we're going to leave behind for our children. We are supposed to be the trustees of their future. We hold their future in our hands. And Ghana is not Accra. Ghana is not Accra. 35 million people. 75% of the people who are in Ghana live in rural Ghana. And for them, this was their pride. And if the system we have here says that the president holds the minerals in this country in trust for the people, I am called the landlord of Achimabuakwa, but I have no power in what's underneath my land.
Restore Local is an initiative to accelerate this locally led restoration by empowering community groups and entrepreneurs to restore degraded land and build sustainable livelihoods. Restore Local has four main components. The first is to develop local capacity through training and mentorship. The second is to deploy innovative financing directly to support local restoration projects. The third is to strengthen policies to incentivize and fund restoration. And the fourth is to monitor and show the results by tracking the progress and the impact using cutting-edge monitoring tools on the ground and from the sky. Restore Local means local ownership driven by local knowledge, restored by local hands for local benefits. It means reviving agroforestry systems to nourish the soil while we produce our food, to build productive buffer zones of key water bodies and steep slopes, to encourage natural regeneration where the land can heal itself, to bring back lost forests, and to protect our coastal regions with mangrove restoration.
Initiative bebree aba a say ye drain ria enye Ghana ha nko a Africa continent no so a ehya ase ebro mfie bebree nanso ene dedue ye da World Resource Institute yes ye DC ho ne apa dwumadie Restore Local hontoma na akenyan ankrankra ne nyumaku a omo pese omo edan yensase a galamsey ni ade anase kwai na ese atori no nyumaku a omai krado se omo be CSC sansase no efa nwiadua so no.
Deforestation at the current rate, if not checked, will soon leave our mother earth a barren and desolate place. Hence, the need to support all efforts aimed to reverse the trend of deforestation and forest degradation. That is why we in the Eastern region applaud the efforts of the WRI in embarking on this project. The Atiwa Forest is classified as a significant biodiversity area. The support, therefore, of all stakeholders in the conservation of this all-important state asset is very much welcome. The protection and conservation of this asset is actually a shared responsibility. And that is why the emergence and launch of this Restore Local project is thus very timely and very much welcomed, as it will complement the efforts that we, as a Forestry Commission and other civil society organizations and individuals are doing to protect and maintain the integrity of this very important forest landscape.
Ghana Tourism Authority wonum adan heritage month na yenim se bosome a ye wo mu eye Ghana bosome ye hwe abakosemu a ade a bosome we mu ene yenya yemfa ahodie eno nti eduru se ya yentoto na sekra eno nam so ama Ghana Tourism Authority womo kire se sa bosome yi enioma bebre na womo eba beye enioma ne bia womo ba beye no yenwom said esi ye ho ye nuane a ye die said yesi ye bibia e wo Ghana ha no wo mo ba beda na di said ye be ye beboa ama nsrahwe adwuma no akwanimo
March way ye heritage month na heritage month ye da ye di ato ho sebe ye be pese Ghana fo nyina ye be sai ko ye chi ne yakofa te se yakofa ye dede mu te se nya na ye hyededa no ye ntare a ye hye aduane a ye di nyuma ye to ye ti a ye bibia anka ye mane hu se we de Ghana ni obasima bema krachi a oye Ghana ni eno ne pese ye celebrate ye woniema bebre a programs bebre a ya hihya to honom na programs no ebi ye food and cultural fair ebi tourism across all the 16 regions. Ebiso ye festivals in Ashanti region. We also have another festival in the Western region. And we have a number of things going on. And GTA is collaborating with all event organizers to make sure these events will be very successful. And at the end of the day, we shall indeed say we have experienced the Black Star experience.
Bosome machi bosome a etuasi o se ye de bebo Ghana ya mamre ene ya mane hu dero na ye ka ya mamre ene ya mane a na fa yeduane ye ntade abedintuo aware said ye nananom de ma ye fititi ebepemene botaya esi ani so ne se ye mpese enchirima erebefi mpanifo se urefi ukro mu hini aban a oyira wo badwase ye kire ne se urefi wa mamre a oyira enu nti no ye mpese ye bayira so obi ya santini obi ye nkrani ana dangbeni oye nzemani oye frafrani oye dagombani oye gonjani ana se oye anwulani a ese so hu amamre ne ye dai amamre ne ye aduane a wo mudi amamre ne ye omontade o mo hye amamre ne ye kasa a wo mo ka amamre ne ye o mo nwom ene sede tete omo nananom tie dia bedu sabre ene de ya pa ho ntoma echese de bia bibi koso uko National Theatre ye concert party ye enwumto a ye bie free se nkwada ne pon school a omonko hwe se de amamre ne tie omonko sua ya asa na omoko nso a ombenya Ghana afade ne Ghana ntade ne niema ne bi ato no mahu se de ye nananom akra ya amamre e de abedu sabre and central for ni derubo for ni titiri ni radio any TV the yesra ne se bosome machi said de bia fibia moye no mombo moden say bobebo Ghana nwom.
Now we know that quite a number of people make their way towards Ghana, especially during December, and it's a narrative that we want to change. The Black Star experience, I think, is something that we continually and consistently have to tell people about. We're looking at 12 months of an experience in Ghana. So, you know, when it's cold on the other side of the world, we want to get people here. Besides trooping here in their thousands and millions in December. So the Black Star experience is an initiative by His Excellency. It's an experience in Ghana from January through to December.
Na yede ekwakwa wie no yenhwe school feeding caterers na wo man mu nyina wo mani abre a wo makọ controller ho se wo musika akam yemfa ma wo mu na yamfa wo musika ama wo mu ana chese aduane no ano ya akogu ano no wo mu kire se wo hwe se de esi ye no wo musika naja ye hyehye ni nyina kama ban na etwa mu na nko de be ma wo mu na abra wo mu elusu ya se kim ade ye ka se payment bia wo mo atwa bia na wo mo reverse intimi amfa ma wo mo ntwa kopim se abanfoforo no oba ne beba besi sa abre wo mo nsankan ye enti wo mo call controller ho mo gi twige trada call controller wo so mo kwa kodwo musika na wo mo enhwe ne ntua ma wo mo na se de se ntua ma wo mo a de wo mo beye no wo mo ebeye yeah ebusiafo ye de kase ebo no asi Pepsodent ena me kanfo ede ama wo no wosi de eno ene wani munyam me ma me besie enipa wosi eye wani munyam na wantwi wosi yie anopa ne anwumre na wanhwe yie na halito ebe mu pe wo ho akiro e wo se otimi etwi wosi no kama anopa boto hu se yenye eti ye atwitwi wosi ansa na wakasa nipa ho mesro ni nyina ye Pepsodent ne ebe kanfo ede ama ye wa ahodo ye wo herbal ye wo chalco and afi ye wo triple action eno so eboa pa ye wo nkwada so ede wo ho nti wo tono na ato nkwada de na eno etimi aboa wo mo eso asini ena ye de kaseboyi ebremo
mama fast that kese ma patmo first clothing on she matade na nwumri or sakamanta 18 to do baby a hot box abo sign wona or honum freno e was 0242265331 0242265331 saso and a cute cat palo obepiem abeka junction mo adjacent ecobank ho eho eno no so de sisi miti ho kama de man to so ko no sisi wuti obetimi afre no was 0246897589
midin ye de akosi asapo me ne
Abinachi watch
yama momo ne hwa adehye